Sponsored by Brilliant. So, Apple has cried havoc and let slip the devices of March. That includes a new MacBook Air, new iPads Pro, a slightly bumped Mac Mini, and new spring colors for Apple Watch bands and iPhone cases. Pretty much everything that was made new back at the October 2018 event has been updated now, today. I'm Rene Ritchie, and here's your March event. Sorta, kinda, and also Vector. The October 2018 MacBook Air added a new design, Retina display, Intel Core M processors, and no, I will never fall for the fake eye branding, and bumping up the price by a couple $100, though nowhere nearly as high as previous new Airs. Still, there was only one processor option. The butterfly keyboard proved beyond problematic, and people had just gotten used to the Air being low priced. So, now, Apple is addressing all of that with the new 2020 MacBook Air. It's getting faster processors and processor options, going to Intel's 10th generation low-power silicon. It's 10 nanometers. Finally, even if it's still no match for Apple's A series. And you can also get dual and quad core now, for up to 2 times faster performance. And it's combined with Iris Plus graphics, which are 80% faster, so it'll be good for casual video editing on the go. And of course, for plugging into a 6K Pro Display XDR, if that's how you roll. For even more, you can also plug into an eGPU. And it's still got the T2 chip for security and acceleration. No T3 yet, at least not until Face ID. Hey, I can dream. The new Magic Keyboard, the one that debuted on last year's 16-inch MacBook Pro, is also here. I've been using it ever since, and it's been rock solid. So far, literally the best of both keyboard worlds. More stable, like the Butterfly, but way better travel and reliability, like the Scissor. And it's backlit, and with the inverted T arrow keys all good-hearted people just know and love. Sadly, no bezel deletion like the 16-inch MacBook Pro though. The display is still the classical 13-inch, not a fancy modern 14-inch like many of us were hoping for. Storage now starts at 256 gigabytes of super fast SSD, though you can bump that up to 2 terabytes now via build to order. Likewise, 8 gigabytes of RAM can go to 16. No Wi-Fi 6, which is unfortunate given Apple embraced it so early with the iPhone 11. And the camera is still 720p, which is just sad. As I've repeated ad nauseum infinitum already, give me a camera bump, give me a notch, anything. Just give me an amazing 1080p camera here and 4K in the other Macs. It's particularly vexing from a company that makes such stellar iPhone cameras. There are also new better mics, though Apple isn't calling them studio quality like the new MacBook Pro. And more better stereo speakers with Atmos support, which if they sound anything like that new Pro will just knock your cinematic socks off. Best of all, and best for most people I reckon, the price is coming all the way back down to $999 and $899 for students, which is, again, just the sweetest of spots for a MacBook. The October 2018 Mac Mini is getting a small update. Not a small update, sadly, but just small. Basically, the standard configs now come with double the storage capacity, so 256 gigabytes and 512 gigabytes respectively. And if I'm not missing anything, that's just really not what I was hoping for, especially for processor updates, because it's still stuck on the 8th generation right now. And given how long it took for the last update, Apple really needed to show that it wasn't gonna let that happen again. So fingers crossed there'll be another refresh this fall. Apple has also done what it usually does in the spring, updated the Apple Watch bands and iPhone cases with new matching seasonal colors. This year that includes grapefruit pink, surf blue, sunshine, vitamin C, neon lime, and more, including new Hermes styles like Noir Gala Rally. The October 2018 iPad Pro now has freaking laser beams strapped to its head. No, really, but yes. First specs first though. It's getting an A12Z Bionic system on a chip. That's right, Z, not X. The difference is there are now 8 graphics cores, new thermal architecture, and a newly tuned performance controller, which is really Apple's secret sauce. Storage is also being doubled on the base configs, now starting at 128 gigabytes. No 5G though, which still shouldn't matter to anyone serious about 5G, but it's got all the LTE. It's also getting an iPhone 11-like camera setup, wide angle and ultra wide angle. As someone who shoots a ton of video though, I would really have loved to have seen the iPhone 11 Pro style setup here. Hell, at this size, I would have loved a periscope zoom as well. And it's 4K, not 8K, but still industry-leading 4K, even though the ability to downsample, pan and scan, and crop 8K into even better, more flexible 4K is a real thing, or at least it will be once the ISP can really handle high bitrate data at that scale. Like the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the new iPad Pro is getting what Apple calls studio quality mics. 5 mics, more specifically. That means if you're on the road and forget your high-end mic, but you still need to record, don't worry fam, the iPad Pro got you. And then there's the new Magic Keyboard. This part of the story comes in 2 parts. First, in iOS 13.4, full trackpad support is coming to the iPad. Not just this iPad, any iPad that can run it. So yeah, no waiting for iOS 14. And with any Magic Trackpad, Magic Mouse, or pretty much any third-party mouse. It also has full selector and gesture support, so you can 3-finger swipe between apps, back home, and into Mission Control. So while it might take some getting used to, it should also be just super useful. Second, Apple is releasing a new Magic Keyboard for the iPad with a new floating design. The cantilevered hinge lets you adjust it up to 130 degrees, so you can set it up just exactly the way you want it. I'm so happy about this. It's also got the new 16-inch MacBook Pro style keys we now all know and love, including backlighting, and wait for it, a built-in trackpad so you can take full use of all that new built-in trackpad support. It's also got its own USB-C port for pass-through charging. $299 for the 11-inch, $349 for the 12.9-inch, which, ouch, but it's Apple Pro pricing. It works with both the 2018 and 2020 iPads Pro, basically all the ones without the home buttons. And there's also going to be a Logitech keyboard for the other iPad and iPad Air models, and likely more third-party options to come. Then there's the laser, or more properly, the LiDAR scanner. Think of it as kinda sorta true depth on the back. Using time of flight, it can measure distance up to 5 meters away, indoors or outdoors. When combined with data from the wide and ultra-wide angle cameras and the internal motion sensors, it can basically figure out what it's looking at. In other words, scene understanding. Not in a creepy rise of the machines way, but in a helpful augmented reality way, for things like instant object placement, better occlusion, faster and better 3D meshes, better physics, everything. And if you're curious about how all of that works, check out Brilliant's new Neural Networks course. The idea of learning through feedback underlies most cutting-edge artificial neural networks. So by wiring up just 50 neurons and following a similar process of feedback, we can build a network that's capable of classifying handwritten digits, for example. The plight of a neural network can be approximated by simple games like, where are my keys? Your aim is to find your keys in a messy room. The tiles color in as you search, revealing how close or far your last guess was from the keys. Without any clear indication of how you structure your guesses, you can nevertheless get better round after round, adjusting your strategy in response to feedback, eventually finding the keys in surprisingly few guesses. And that's all thanks to Brilliant, a problem-solving based website and app with a hands-on approach. With over 60 interactive courses in math, science, and computer science, Brilliant puzzles you, surprises you, and expands your understanding of the modern world. The absolute best thing you can do 2020, especially right now for you and your family, is investing in your STEM skills. So go to brilliant.org/vector and finish your day a little smarter every day. Thanks, Brilliant, and thanks to all of you for supporting the show. So, new MacBook Air, new iPad Pro, updated Mac Mini-ish, new Apple Watch Band in iPhone colors, and a March event in press release form. And now that you've heard all about it, I'd love to know what you think about it. So hit like if you do, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and then hit up the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next video.